Hello and welcome to another episode of Reach Your Happy with Laura. I am Laura and today I'm going to be talking about how even when you're hurting, you're in physical pain or distress, or confused, overwhelmed, feeling lost, that you are still on your path. That feeling good is not an indication, not always an indication that you're at the right place at the right time and doing right. Sometimes we, dense humans, need physical pain, emotional pain to help us change because we are quite dense. As you probably know from your personal experience, maybe with your partner or even just yourself, it is hard to change. It's hard to change your hair color and be okay with it. You know, it's hard to change habits if you're trying to eat differently, if you're trying to move differently, if you're trying to have a different mindset. It is hard to change. So, feeling good and feeling in alignment and connection to who you are and what you want to be doing, that is a fantastic place to be. But we cannot get mad at ourselves for not being in that high, joyous, wonderful space because if we diss ourselves for not being in that space, what we're actually saying is that unless I feel that level of high, let's call it, then I'm not in the right place. So that would mean a good amount of your experience, you've been in the wrong place. And that just simply cannot be true because that would mean we are so flawed, so off the path, so lost. And I just don't believe that to be true. I believe we came here to have an experience, to head down paths, to get hurt, to figure something out that we wouldn't have otherwise. So the other day I was at the grocery store and I was in a bit of a fog. I don't love grocery shopping, but I've been trying to reframe it like I am so fortunate that I have the physical body to move about and walk around the grocery store. How blessed am I? Or I have the abundance to shop for whatever I want. I don't have to shop sales. I don't have to shop in any particular way. I go to Wegmans, I get all the fruit and veggies and meat and everything that I want. Whatever I want, I can get. So I've been trying to reframe my grocery store experience, and that can be applied to anything. If you hate going to the gym, if you hate going to church with your kids, there's a way to reframe it if it's something that you know is for your highest good. Don't try to reframe something that's not good for your well-being, not something that, though it may be challenging, it's meant for you to grow and support you. But so I'm at the grocery store, and again, my general vibe when I go to the grocery store is like, oh my gosh, and I think this comes from, I worked for a family for a very long time, and I was at the grocery store for them multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day, multiple grocery stores as well. And even then, I had to reframe it, not, oh, I have to do this. I'm getting paid to do this. I have their credit card. I used to go to Whole Foods and spend hundreds of dollars for them. They had a big family. And I'd be like, yes, I can't afford this. It was like I was practicing the energy of having that level of abundance that I could pick out whatever I wanted, not even question how much is this going to come to. I often, ping my card on the reader without even knowing how much it costs. I am so fortunate. So anyways, that discomfort of going to the grocery store, I still have remnants of I have to do this for someone, and I'm doing it for me and my fiance, which is a wonderful thing, but still doesn't matter. I still have some energy that I'm working through in regards to my resentment about going to the grocery store so much. So here we are, landing the plane here, getting to the point. I'm at the grocery store and I'm kind of shuffling around a little bit in a fog. It's really hectic. I think it was on a Friday. What day was it? I don't remember what it was. No, it wasn't Friday. It was earlier last week. And it's hectic. Lots of people, which I don't mind. I do the same thing with traffic. When it's really, really busy, I slow my pace. If it's really, really slow, I feel like I can navigate it better. So I kind of do the opposite of what others are doing. And energetically, that's just what feels good to me. So it's like practicing staying in my energy and not picking up on everybody else's, which is a tool I use in my work. So I was walking and I had one of those little carts, and I, getting frustrated, banged my shin. I'm like, shit. Like, I don't remember the last time I banged my shin on the goddamn grocery cart. Anyways, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to stop. I shook my leg out and I was like, oh my God. I like made a face like, ow, 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 ow. And then I looked to my left, like something caught my eye, and one of the grocery items that I wasn't sure where to find anyway was right there. I was like, well, don't want to bang my shin, but hey, look at what it led to. That's kind of cool. Grab the honey, put it in the cart. I keep walking, bang my shin again, and I'm like, what if this is the same scenario? So I look around, the sour cream that Brad likes, like a squeeze one instead of a scoop one. Perfect. I never know where to find this. He's usually the one that gets this. So I grab the sour cream and I'm like, And then I tell myself, Laura, your spirit is communicating to you. It's trying to guide you, but you're being a little dense right now. You're thinking about other things. I'm planning a wedding, so I am thinking wedding, I'm thinking clients, I'm thinking content, I'm thinking all other things other than where I am. Even though I am not present, I still am receiving guidance. What a beautiful thing. It does not matter if I'm in that high space of like, I'm so connected, I'm in the flow, or I'm clunking around and banging my shins on the cart, which makes me want to throw the cart, right? I'm still receiving guidance. I'm still getting hits of my intuition, of my inner GPS saying, hey, Laura, hello, hi, right here, pause for a sec. And I had to pause because I was in such physical pain. But that pause, when I took it as a moment to actually stop my physical body and not continue to force through, right? That's the kind of secret ingredient there. Not forcing through the frustration, but instead just pausing, going, something's going on here. I want to shift. Okay. Thank you for the guidance. I got the sour cream, but I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate about listening to where I feel like going and allow myself to be guided around the grocery store. I've been to this Wegmans a billion times, but instead of going down the normal route towards the veggies that I would do, I went towards the dairy section instead. And I'm like, interesting. And I just flowed through, and again, just this seamless, like, And I had walked into that grocery store with that kind of foggy, not in a great space. But my discomfort, instead of taking it as punishment or it's just one of those days and writing off the entire day, I took it as, this is guidance, this is information, this is my soul, my spirit, my innermost Laura, the one that's connected to the Creator, talking to me. It's trying to get through. It's like banging on the glass, right? And I'm like, I'm not listening. And then it's like, ow, oh shoot, now I'm listening. So for me, physical pain is a really good indicator because I do not like physical pain. I don't know, whatever reason. I mean, who really likes physical pain? If that's your thing, that's your thing. But anyways, we can expand this. Emotional pain is guidance. I talked a couple videos, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, about the ego versus the intuition. So my ego goes, this sucks. This is so stupid. I knew I shouldn't have come. I was in a bad mood. I shouldn't have done this. And then I go, ego, thank you. Thank you for those thoughts. Thank you for showing me how I was limiting myself by thinking that because I'm in this kind of mood, I can't go out in the world and get something done. So that discomfort allowed me to say, thank you, ego. You're trying to tell me, go home. We're not equipped for this. But instead, I'm going to work with this. I'm going to let this be my homework. Let me be out in the world practicing what I teach, what I'm trying to practice myself. So the ego rises up and says, this is freaking stupid. I can't believe I hit my shin twice now. I have a bruise and it hurts and I hate this. And then I said, oh, ego, thank you for that information. Thank you for the anger. Thank you for the little ding, 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 like the red flag. The alarm bell is going off saying, we want to adjust. I want to feel better. So I went through the dairy section. I just drifted through. It was like everything just came so nicely together, because it's like when you're hungry, you're not going to dilly-dally on the ride home. No, you're going to be deliberate. You're going to get there. You're going to even have a plan in your head. I'm going to have a little piece of cheese while I'm cooking my chicken so that I don't perpetuate this discomfort. We don't have to perpetuate our discomfort. That is a choice. But the mind goes, this is just how it is, and I suck, and whatever kind of awful things that you say to yourself, or that person sucks and they don't get it, right? Ego, which we love it. Let's love it because it's guidance. So I actually have been imagining my ego as my face, and I'm like, oh, and I give myself some love. I'm like, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, guidance, love it, appreciate you. I am supporting me. These different aspects of me are supporting me. So then I'm drifting through the grocery store and I go, ooh, what line do I feel like? Not what looks like the best, right? We all know what this is like, though. Or if you're fortunate enough to go to the grocery store, you have an idea of like picking a line and what that looks like on a busy day, right? You're like, who has a little, who has a lot, which one looks slow, who's got the bagger, who has no bagger, who's got the old lady doing the checkout, right? Right? You've done that before. I know you have. And if you haven't, then may the good Lord bless you, because you are, you're special. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to continue to just allow myself to be guided. Sometimes I like to pick a number that I like. Other times I'm like, I just feel like this. So I just felt like getting into a line. And my mind goes, wow, Laura, interesting choice. You pick the lady who is moving at a snail's pace, whose cart is piled practically above like the candy little section in the magazines. And then the woman before her has a bunch of alcohol, and at Wegmans, the girl at the cash register, I don't think she was 21, so she had to get a manager, and so the light's flashing, and I'm like, my mind's going, interesting line. Guess you didn't want to get anywhere soon, right? And then my heart, my soul, my center is going, let's just relax. Let's just take this time to settle. You're done with clients for the day. All you have to do is have this delicious food delivered back to your house in your wonderful vehicle that has brand new tires, and get home and unpack it and make a wonderful meal for you and your to-be husband. I was like, yeah, let's just chill. So I'm sitting there, and the woman before me, the first one goes, and then this elderly lady goes, and she's moving real slow, and she goes over and she's talking to the cash register lady and like wants to make eye contact, wants to talk about every item and where she wants to put it and rearranging stuff. And I'm just watching her lovingly, because my mind goes, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, that tension I feel when my mind is judging and thinking I made the wrong choice, I shouldn't be here, poor choice of line, I can feel the disharmony, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spoil my experience. There's enough suffering in the world. There's enough bullshit that has happened in my life, has happened to others in my life, that I hear about my clients, that I see about my clients. Like, this, in the grand scheme of things, ain't so bad. So thank you, ego, for that information, that is a pattern of mine, to get frustrated, to second guess myself and my choices. But you know what? I'm going to choose peace in this moment. So I just leaned on my car, and I'm hanging there, and I'm smiling, and I'm watching this interaction with this young girl and this elderly woman. And the elderly woman's just so sweet, and just, you can tell, just wants to connect. And the young girl is kind of like, wants to, but at the same time feels a little weird. She seemed new. Anyway, I'm just watching it all, and then the elderly woman turns to me and says like, oh, you know all my secrets. I like margaritas and pre-made Cosmos. And I was like, those bottles are so beautiful. They had like little glass Cosmo mixed already. And it was like the perfect kind of pink. If you drink Cosmos, you know what I'm talking about. And she's like, oh, they're so delicious. And the margaritas, they're real salty, but do you like salt? I was like, I actually don't like salty margaritas. Like, I don't get salt on the rim. And she's like, oh, you won't like those. And I was like, well, thank you very much. And she's like, but don't tell anyone my secrets. And we were just laughing about it. And then she proceeds to check out, and she puts her credit card in, and it says approved, and she goes, yoo-hoo, approved, making a joke. And she's like, I don't know what I'd do if it didn't. And you know, the collective line giggled. And then she goes to walk away, and she's real slow moving, and I'm just like, I'm so thankful that I chose that line, that I listened to the patience, just like, hey girl, it's okay, let's just be here, let's be present. She starts walking away, and then she stops the cart and still is like in my way enough that I can't move forward, that my stuff can't start moving. And I'm just patiently waiting, and I'm like, huh? And she's like, turns just like this. And she's like, I hope you have a really wonderful day. And I was like, I hope the same for you. Enjoy those Cosmos. I'll be thinking of you when I'm having my glass of wine tonight. And she was like, oh, that's so fun, you know? And I was like, oh my word. From bumping my shins to having a beautiful interaction, I have goosebumps. It's like, to me, this is the life I want to be living. Is that always going to be the case? Am I always going to have that level of poise and self-awareness to slow down? Probably not. But I did this time. And so this time, I'm talking about it. It's almost a week later, and I'm still talking about it, right? Because it made an imprint on me. It showed me I can be in pain. I can recalibrate. I can adjust my course. I can reframe my mind at any point if I have the awareness to do so. And when I don't, and I get into the swirl, and like last night I was in a swirl, and I was just standing there, and Brad's like, what? And I'm like, I just feel sad. And I'm standing there crying, because it's like I let it build up too much. I disregarded here and was listening here too much and not blending the two. And so, you know, last week it was that, last night it was the discord and discomfort and the tension, and all of it is important, and all of it is me moving along my path, because there's no being off the path. It doesn't matter where you are, what your financial situation is, what your relationship status is, how your body feels, looks, whatever stage you are in your life, in your evolution. There is no off path. There's no wrong. It's not wrong. It's just an experience. And at any point, you can adjust. You can't always adjust your relationship with a parent. You can't always adjust different things, but you can choose to feel differently. You can choose to acknowledge what the ego is trying to say, and acknowledge the friction you feel when you think that thought. So when I think a thought that isn't who I really am, I feel tension. So it's not about always having thoughts that feel just right on the money. It's noticing it when it's a bit off and reminding myself, there's some story going on in my mind. My ego is playing some sort of story out that when I get to the grocery store, I gotta bing, bang, boom, I gotta be in the rush of it, I gotta get first in line, I gotta get the fastest line, I gotta check out real quick because that person behind, right? Like, my mind has created a story of what is reality. When here, the spirit part of me, it's not on some storyline. It's not believing some reality. It's just present. It's just here. It's just hearing the very now and experiencing it fully. And I will tell you, there are miracles. Like that exchange with that woman, I could have been pissed off and frustrated that she was taking so damn long and chit-chatting, you know? And been like, oh my gosh, of course you're drinking, right? Like, I could have gone down that route. I'm not above that. I've done that before. Have another drink, you know? Hi, me, guilty. So, I know that path. I know what it feels like. I don't like it. The path of surrendering and centering and being aware of myself and settling myself down just for the sake of feeling some relief, I'm not bumping my shins, thank the good Lord. You know, it's not always easy. It's certainly not easy because the mind is so goddamn loud. But we have the opportunity to witness miracles more regularly and experience a different reality than what you're currently facing. Yep, you can. And you're not wrong if you're not. You know, you're not wrong if you're repeating the same cycle. But it's something to become aware of. And it starts to become fun when you're not blaming or shaming yourself for having stories, for having tension, for having anger, for having these thoughts of judgment towards another or yourself. I'm not shaming myself for that. It's just like, oh, that's interesting. Interesting. It's like having a menu at a restaurant. You're like, oh, I freaking hate shrimp. But it's on the menu, so I gotta eat it. And it's like, no, you don't, though. You really don't. You can. But you don't have to eat the shrimp, because I really don't like shrimp. I could put myself through that. I could suck it up. And I think that's what we do a lot, is just suck up the shitty feeling and blame it on other people, or, oh, I'm gonna get my period, I'm hormonal, you know? And I mean, that is true, but I don't have to pick the shrimp on the menu. I like chicken, I like spicy, I like a lot of other things other than shrimp. So I have the freedom to choose, but I have to be willing to not be so hyper-focused on the fact that there's shrimp on the menu, right? There's an old lady before me taking forever. I could focus on that, or I could go, if I was gonna eat some candy, which one would I choose? And I'm like, ooh, fruity Mentos, yellow or orange Tic Tacs, ooh. And I'm thinking about, like, as a kid, like, I'd always have them stuck in my teeth, and I'd have like 5 of them, and like not feel very good after, but I like the flavor, and then I like how my tongue was orange, right? And I'm just allowing myself to be there instead of in the tension. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this message was helpful. I hope you enjoy this healing. As you know, or may not know, if you're new here, every video of mine has healing in it. So I tune into the collective consciousness and I channel healing energy. So the message I send, yes, it's a personal story of mine, but it's something I receive to share, because of course I have many happenings in my life, and I choose specific things based on the energy of the collective. So if you'd like to contribute to me making content, I put a link below for my PayPal, and that is not expected, but it's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you soon. Take good care, and know deeply that you are loved. And the fastest, easiest way to access that is to start to be more loving towards yourself, towards your thoughts, towards your feelings, and towards your experience. Take good care. Bye-bye.